Author's Corner, I want you to pay attention to this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this book, Then Sings My Soul, this novel. Lily Langston's husband, Samuel, is struck by a car, killed late one night while crossing the street to his home. The driver, Aaron Turner, a 15-year-old, has only a learner's permit and should not have been driving alone, especially at night. Lily and her family are Christians. They believe in forgiveness. The family convinces the court to give Aaron probation and community service. But 15-year-old Rose cannot forgive, is angry because Aaron doesn't go to jail to pay for killing her dad. Wow. This really, really hits you. Doreen Hatton is the author of the book, Then Sings My Soul. Doreen, thanks so much for joining us.
You're sure welcome.
So
Thank you for having me.
That really, really grips you, because who wouldn't feel that way when they're young and then their father is killed? So you take us through that story. And I mentioned that Lily and her family are Christians, but even as Christians, it's hard to deal with that, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And we all have struggles, you know. Every one of us has struggles. So it's our choice whether we want to forgive or whether we want to be angry the rest of our lives.
And in this novel, you talk about that, the joy of forgiveness, and that you can be healed with forgiveness, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. And they are musicians. And when their father is killed, of course, that takes away one of the musicians from the family group. But then, amazingly, Aaron has beautiful voice, and he plays the guitar, just like their dad did. So he stepped in, not easily at first, but he stepped in, and they found out that they can create this beautiful music. And through the music and through their association with the other family, Aaron's family, they learned to forgive and to love each other. And it's a remarkable blessing for all of them because of the music and because of their willingness to forgive.
Again, it goes back to that heart of forgiveness, and especially when there's a tragedy, right? It's one thing when we're forgiving people for gossip or something that was done surrounding that, but it's another thing when you talk about also loss of life, and so many people grapple with that. It hurts their heart and it blackens their heart, as you know, and you clearly have a message in this book. When people read it, what do you hope that they ultimately take away from reading this novel?
Well, I believe that in the first place, we all deal with struggles. We're here to make our way through our life, and none of us get through it easily. We all have heartache and loss and struggles. And so at some time or other, we have to deal with that. And so that's what this story is about. It's dealing with the loss and the struggle to come to some kind of peace and to learn to forgive and love each other. And let it go.
Then let it go. I like that. That's powerful. So in letting it go, in writing this novel, what did it do for you in writing the book? How did you feel after you were finished with it?
I felt good. I felt really good because I have severe struggles in my life, and I've had to deal with when my husband died. I thought his family was going to help me. They didn't. And he worked with his family all his life. I mean, he was their attorney. He did everything. When they needed money, he went and borrowed it. And then when he died, I know he assumed that they would put their arms around me and help me. But they had the insurance. And they just said, well, too bad. Goodbye. So it's taken me many, many years, but I have forgiven them, and I'm totally forgiven them, and I love them. And that's what this book is about, is going through that period of time where you struggle with your own pain, and then you find out that there's a way out of it, and you can learn to love these people, and I have. And I totally forgive them. And one thing, Kate, the Lord has blessed me. Oh, my goodness, have I been blessed. And because of those blessings that he has helped me forgive them. And that's what the story is about. Faith in God and faith in ourselves.
And in having that happen, which I know there's lots of people listening, because, you know, we're talking about your novel, but what it's meant in your life, forgiveness, the power of forgiveness. There are a lot of people, Doreen. In fact, I can think of 3 stories off the top of my head of people I know who had a similar situation to yours, where there was fights over wills and somebody was cut out and somebody assumed that they were going to take care of their loved one. And so it's interesting, in death, it becomes often hard for the people who feel like they get thrown under the bus, so to speak, by the family. So that's really says something about your character and your faith to be able to forgive the family. But you and I talked off the air, and it really has lifted you up, hasn't it? Because you were able to do that.
Yes. And I was telling you about the last time I saw one of these people, these Max's family. And we were in a situation where I didn't want to go over there at all. But I did, and she came and visited with me. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or anything. We just visited. But when I got home, I realized that anger was gone. I loved her. I loved that whole family. They're wonderful people. And so we can all learn, and we can all learn to forgive and love. That's for sure.
And when you wrote the book, and so in the book, it's obviously different than even this particular story we're talking about. It is very gripping. And was that the idea, to take people through a process in a novel where you could really understand, as you mentioned this, music and Christianity and hard feelings and death, etc., and you did it so brilliantly. Was that what was rattling around in your head, that this is the way I'm going to tell this story?
Well, you know, Kate, I told you that I was getting help.
Yes.
And it started one night after I wanted to help my grandson has autism. I wanted to be able to help that family. Didn't know how I was going to, because I didn't have a lot of money or anything. And the story came to me at night. And as I went along, I was given this help. So that's why I think it's very important, because I was thinking I was getting divine help. So somebody needs my book so that they can be helped too.
Yep, that exactly. And that because the way you wrote it and the way that it pours out across the pages, it's just so well done. Again, the book is called Then Sings My Soul, and it's a story that I started at the beginning of this talking about Lily Langston's husband, Samuel, who was hit by a car, what happens to the daughter, how she feels, what happens to the driver who doesn't get jail time and gets probation instead, and then the whole joy of forgiveness and music weaved in throughout this too as well. What was the process of finishing the book, writing the book, and then saying, "Wow, it's ready to go out"? Was that a powerful feeling for you?
Well, I'll tell you what happened, because I don't know why this would have happened, because I knew I was getting help, okay? And yet when I had the book ready, I didn't have it ready. I had it, I had the basis for the book all written out, and I had made a copy of it. And then when I went back on the computer to fill in the background, because you have to fill in the background, or these people are just stick people, So I got on there and worked so hard, and then the next day when I'd want to continue, it was gone.
Wow.
It was gone. There were so many places, I guess, on my computer where things could be stored that I could not find them. And I went through this, and I even decided, I'm not going to bother with this. Just forget about it. But no, this person helping me, you know. Said,
Found
no,
it.
you got to keep it. You got to keep
love
going. So I called my son, and I took my computer up to him. He lives in Ogden, Utah, and he took my computer and cleared it all out. And then he put one place where everything could be stored. So then I had to start all over again, putting it all back in, and then I was able to, to put background in it and everything. Helen Leslie helped me, and I have another daughter who helped me, and that's what we've got. And I'm very proud of it. And what I want to tell you is that there are several books at Amazon and Barnes & Noble, that's where my book can be bought, that have the same name, and Sings My Soul. So when you want to buy it, you have to look it up under my name. Then Sings My Soul by Doreen Hatton.
I love it.
My book.
I'm glad that you told us that. Doreen, Then Sings My Soul. Go pick it up. It's a great story. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're surely welcome. Thank you.